At Kimbolton School, we're committed to making complex scientific concepts engaging through hands-on and experiential learning. In this video, we will show you how we teach respiration in a way that helps pupils visualise and understand this vital biological process.
What do you think would happen if we sprinkle some coffee whitener onto the flame? Let's find out together. The burning sugar experiment resembles the process of aerobic respiration by visualizing the combustion reaction. Combustion and aerobic respiration are similar reactions, as both use oxygen, release energy, and produce carbon dioxide. These are the materials we need for this demonstration. To have a more profound effect, we usually use a coffee whitener, which contains a relatively high percentage of sugar. Before the experiment, to ensure safety, students are asked to stand at least 5 meters away from the setup. The teachers would then light up the wooden stick and gently sprinkle the coffee whitener onto the flame using a sieve. The sieve is used here to further separate the lumps of coffee whitener into smaller powders, which increases its surface area for high rates of combustion reaction. As we can see, the coffee whitener then burns with a flame as combustion takes place. Based on the experiential learning cycle, after watching this experiment, students can actively reflect on their observation and form abstract conceptualization. We as teachers, for example, can guide our students to identify the reactants and the products of combustion and make a comparison between combustion and aerobic respiration. Students can then consolidate and reaffirm what they have learned in a new situation, such as in the upcoming fire bubble demonstration, through active experimentation.
Now that we have seen how combustion works with sugar, let's take it a step further with methane bubbles. These are the materials we need for methane fire bubbles demonstration. Same as the burning sugar demonstration, students must stand at least 5 meters away from the setup to ensure that they're safe. To create the methane bubbles, you open the valve on the gas tap until you hear the methane gas. Dip the end of the tubing into the bucket of soap solution. While you're waiting for the methane bubbles to form, you can ignite a wooden stick. You need to keep it away from the bubbles at this point, which will be used later to combust the methane bubbles. Before scooping out the methane bubbles, you must dip your hand into the soapy water or cover it in water from a tap. This is a really crucial step to avoid any burns and injuries. As we can see, when the methane bubbles are in contact with the burning wooden stick, a big flame is formed as combustion takes place. By comparing combustion to aerobic respiration, students can form deeper understanding on the conditions, reactants, and products of both reactions. This demonstration can also be used to introduce the concept of specific heat capacity. By dipping your hand into the soapy water, the flame created in combustion would not burn your hand, as the water has a high specific heat capacity. Therefore, water absorbs the heat released from the flame without increasing much the temperature in your hand, so your hand's protected from the heat.
The last activity we want to share is the Yeast-air balloon experiment. We usually use this activity as a whole class experiment while teaching anaerobic respiration in yeast, also known as fermentation. These are the materials we need. First, students are asked to add yeast and sugar to a conical flask containing warm water. Warm water is used here to speed up the fermentation reaction, so students can see its effect on the balloon towards the end of the lesson. After adding yeast and sugar, students would then immediately attach a balloon to the mouth of the flask to ensure no oxygen gets into the flask, so anaerobic respiration can occur. Students should also swell the flask to thoroughly mix the content. The setup can then be left aside. Towards the end of the lesson, the balloon should stand upright as carbon dioxide is formed in fermentation. This experiment not only helps us understand anaerobic respiration, but it is the same process used in industry, such as brewing and baking. It is amazing to see how what we learn in the classroom applies to the wider world. To further develop students' scientific process skills, we also ask students to modify the experiment and implement their modified experiments by incorporating an independent variable of their choice, like different temperatures and different sugar content. to investigate its effect on the rate of fermentation.
We hope you've enjoyed this video on different experiential learning strategies our department uses to teach respiration at Kimbolton School. Our approach ensures pupils not only understand the theory behind respiration, but also experience it in action. These interactive experiments bring science to life and inspire curiosity. We hope you find these techniques useful for your own lessons.